Hi everyone, I'm Wardee with Traditional Cooking School, and I'm the author of The Complete Idiot's Guide to Fermenting Foods. Over the years, I've received lots of questions about the basics of fermentation, such as equipment, what it is, salt, all kinds of things. So the purpose of this video series is to answer your questions one by one. Common question I get is, how do I know if my ferment is done? Well, let's say you're making a quart of sauerkraut and it's bubbling away on the counter and you've had it there for a good 3 to 5 days. Well, don't be afraid of this thing. Open it up. Smell it. I should have a fork here. Taste some. How's it taste? How's it doing? One thing that often happens in sauerkraut is that it'll be bubbling and producing gases, and the kraut itself will be lifted by that. So when I open my jar, I take that time, that opportunity to pack it all back down and smush out all those air bubbles. But the point is, interact with your ferment. When it's done, it'll have a more complex flavor than just straight vegetables. It won't be as salty because the saltiness will have been reduced by the developing of flavors. It'll be sour because of the production of lactic acid. The vegetables, or whatever you're fermenting, the texture will change, and that really depends on what you're fermenting. But like this sauerkraut is going to have a really good crunch. It's not the crunch of a fresh cabbage leaf, it's the crunch of sauerkraut. A pickle will be softened from that crunch of a fresh cucumber, and it'll be like the pickle crunch. So bottom line is, I want to encourage you to interact with your ferment, and as time goes by, you'll see what tends to happen. You'll see colors change, you'll get more in tune with that texture change, and there isn't necessarily a right time to stop a ferment either, because one thing is you got to go on taste. What do you like? When do you think it's done? The other thing is, let's say I fermented this for 5 days and I thought it was good. So I'm going to move it to the refrigerator for cold storage, but it can sit in the fridge for another year and it'll continue to age and even get better. So that's the beauty of fermentation, is it's up to you, and interact with it, and then you'll learn what you like and you'll learn what to do and what judgments to make. I do quickly want to remind you that anytime you open a jar and interact with it, make sure to repack it carefully and close it tightly so it can continue its safe fermentation. The other thing is you want to keep in mind is that you may be following a recipe and your ferment turns out a little bit different than the recipe. That's okay. There's so many variables involved. There's how many organisms were present on the ferment to begin with. There's the whether or not you used a starter culture. There's the room temperature, there's the size of the vessel, there's all kinds of things. So it's okay if it doesn't proceed the same way, but you do want to watch for the hallmarks of a good fermentation, which is the food, it may be getting sour, but it's not getting repulsive. It's tasting good, it's changing in a good way, and it's proceeding along that fermentation path, even though it might be slightly different from someone else's. So enjoy the journey, and I'd love to hear from you. And before you go, I've got a quick gift for you. It's my Fermenting Formulas cheat sheet, which is basically exactly what that says. It's a cheat sheet of formulas to help you create your own ferments like krauts, relishes, pickles, chutneys, beverages, and more. So be sure to grab that free download. It's a free gift. You can either click the button right there to be taken to the sign-up page, or you can go to traditionalcookingschool.com/fermentformula, where ferment formula is one word. I'll see you there. Thanks again. In the coming weeks, I'll be answering even more of your questions about fermentation. So to get the latest news and information, be sure to subscribe to my channel. As well, I'd love to hear from you. I'd love you to click like on this video or leave a comment and let me know what questions you want answered in the future.